Hello there! How are you doing? I hope you are all fine. Today I want to talk a bit about job interviews and how to handle them basically. If you are like me, an anxious person, a very sensitive person, you have probably ruined a lot of interviews. Because I know I did. I used to get so overwhelmed about my emotions and stressed and anxious that I couldn't even talk. So I know how it is. So if you're struggling with interviews, if you have an important interview coming up, if you just want to be good at interviews, if you are looking for a new job, this video might be for you. It's been almost 2 years since I moved to Bucharest, and firstly what I want to tell you is that I moved here without a job. I didn't have anything planned for me, so I just went blindly. It was a very tricky move for me. It was very hard. It could have went even bad. Fortunately it didn't, but what I'm trying to say is that I have a lot of experience in going to interviews. I've been to like 30 interviews since I came to Bucharest, and I think I have learned some stuff in the meantime on the way. Yeah, it's been a ride. I'm gonna start with your exterior aspect. What I want to say is that you should dress neutrally. You don't have to wear a suit. Maybe I would advise you to wear a suit if you're gonna go to a law company or a finance company or a very serious and strict company. But if not, if you go to an IT company, a more creative company, if you're gonna work in retail, I don't know, you don't need to wear a suit. What I'm saying basically is that you can dress casual smart, casual towards office, but you don't necessarily need to wear a suit. Wear a blouse, for example. This one is pretty neutral for me. Wear some black pants, something really simple, something that doesn't make you stand out. Don't be vulgar, don't go too sexy or too sporty, or I don't know, you're not going to a football game, you're going to an interview. So you don't have to be stressed about it. You don't have to go and shop for clothes before you go to an interview. You just have to pay attention and dress casual smart. This is my advice for you. You don't need more than this. I'm sure you have clothes in your closet that can fit an interview. I would advise you to not have strong makeup because it can be taken in another way. So just prefer to go neutral. If you really want lipstick, go for one that is more neutral. If you want makeup, you can put it, of course, but put it in a natural way. Don't go too provocative. Don't do club makeup. You don't need that. Just stay natural, because in an interview what matters is what you have here, not what you have outside as much. So it shouldn't matter at all, but maybe in some domains it does. But what's the most important is your experience and what you have in the head. About the interior things, a few advices I want to give is for you to be friendly, for you to have respect for the person you're talking with, have good manners, say thank you, say please. Don't be hesitant, don't be strong, be on your position. Try to look very confident, even if you're not. Just fake it till you make it. I did this a lot, like I'm always a mess in interviews, but it became better in time after many interviews. The other thing that I want to say is that you should be yourself, but don't get extra confident. Don't act like the person next to you is your best friend, because it's still gonna be the person who is gonna decide if they hire you. So be yourself, but in a respectful way, in a professional way. Also, smile. Try to smile. Try to be positive and have a good vibe around you. Also, when you have more than one people in the room, you should look at everybody. Don't focus on only one person. Don't focus on the person that you first had the interview with, because usually when you have more persons in the room, that is gonna be the second or the third interview. Look at everybody, talk with everybody, interact. The next one is a very important one. Do your background check regarding the company you're gonna go into. Search on the internet, know facts about them. Search the persons you're gonna have an interview with on LinkedIn, the hiring manager, the recruiter. You should know stuff about them, and you should know their name. That's very important. You should know stuff about their professional background. You don't have to search them on Facebook and see what they like in their spare time. You search them in a professional way, so you can be prepared to ask questions. Talk with them by their name, because this is gonna make a more personal impression, and this is gonna make you look like you really paid attention to this interview and to the persons you're gonna talk with. Do not be late. I repeat, do not be late. Even if you live in the biggest city, the most crowded city, just take your time so you know you will be there in time. Even if you leave the house 1 hour earlier than you are supposed to, just make sure you get there in time. I'm gonna stress more about this. This is gonna be your first impression, so if you are late from the first day, imagine what your future manager will think. That is bad. Don't do that. Be on time. Google and YouTube are your friends. Before you have that interview, make sure you're gonna research everything you can about interviews on YouTube and Google. You don't know much Excel? Then you can learn anything you want on YouTube. Believe me, I was there, I've been there, I've done that. I had jobs where I didn't have to work as much with Excel, and then all of a sudden I found a job where I had to. So what I did is I went on YouTube, and of course there are many videos there that can teach you how to do the basic formulas in Excel, or even more complicated formulas. So all you have to do is want it, because you can definitely learn it on your own. You don't have to stress about it if you don't know it. You can find anything these days on the internet. If you won't know how to pass the test when you get to that interview, it's only your fault. The information is out there, so search for it. Also, you can find a lot of information on YouTube about the classic interview questions, the ones you fear the most. You can find many types of answer and examples and stuff like that that are gonna help you in getting your best answer. If you are an anxious person like me, being prepared for this interview and having an answer for any question that might come to you is gonna help you a lot in being more confident. It's gonna help you a lot in not fearing the interview, in maybe being able to sleep the night before, because I wasn't even able to sleep when I had an interview. Yeah, basically it's gonna make you more confident. So be sure you're gonna be prepared, because it's the most important thing. Let's get a bit into the trickier questions. I have prepared a few, and they are very classic, and I have heard them in almost every interview I've been in. So you are probably gonna hear them too. But you're sneaky and you're gonna be prepared, because I'm telling you some sneaky stuff right now. And all the other people on the internet that did this before me can tell you this. So if they ask you for a flaw, don't come with shit like, oh, you know, I'm a perfectionist, but this is not a flaw. This is something you try to put in a bad lighting, but it's not a flaw. Instead, try to show a real flaw of yours, but say what you're doing to correct it. This is what they want to hear from you. They want to hear what are you doing to correct the problems you might have. The same thing goes if they are gonna say to you, tell me about a mistake you did. You can say sincerely about the mistake you did in your professional background, of course, and say what you did to resolve that in the future and make sure it's not gonna happen again. This is the most important part, how you try to correct yourself, because everybody makes mistakes. Every interview is gonna start, or almost any interview, with tell me something about yourself. Here you don't have to go into detail that much. Don't tell them I don't know, all your hobbies, or that you grew up in 7 cities. No, it's not that important. You can just do the basic stuff. You can say your age, say your name. They probably know it anyway, but say it very fast. Say where you come from, say what education you have, and do a summary of your professional background. This is the most important. You don't have to go in detail, because they will probably do it anyway, and they will ask you questions. So just do a small summary of all your professional experience, and that's all. You can have this answer prepared for any interview you go at. It's always gonna be the same. You can just prepare it on a piece of paper when you are at home before going to the interview. They will probably ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? See, this is a pretty tricky question because nobody knows where they are gonna be in the next 5 years. We don't know. The future can change at any time. You sometimes don't know what you're gonna eat tomorrow, so how will you know what are you gonna do in 5 years? That's crazy. But you have to have an answer prepared for this. So what I advise you is to portray yourself in their company in the next 5 years. Tell them how you want to grow in their company. Don't go for, oh, I want to be the CEO of your company in the next 5 years, because that's not realistic. Don't go for, I want to be a manager. So if you really want to be a manager, say that you are committed in learning all you can and doing your best at that job to become a great asset for them and be able to grow in that company. They want to know about how committed you are to them and how committed you're gonna be. Nobody wants an employer that is gonna stay for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months or something like that. They want people that are gonna do the extra mile for them. Another tricky question can be, why do you want this job? Why do you think you are fit for this job? Of course, everybody wants a job because we need money, because we want to evolve in our career. Here you have to tell them what do you want from that specific job, what do you want from the company, and what do you think the job is going to bring to you. Also, you can use your strengths here, so you can tell them why you are good for the company. For me, for example, I have a lot of experience in many domains. So this means I can learn fast, I can learn a lot of stuff, and I have good skills in many domains. You have to learn how to sell yourself and how to sell your experience. For example, my very mixed experience, it can be a bad thing in an interview, but it can be a good thing if you know how to sell yourself. If you go in a new domain, like let's say finance, and you have only worked in marketing, it's gonna be a bit hard to convince them. If you don't have experience in the job you're going for, you just have to take the good things you have learned in those jobs and apply them in your new one and make them understand that you are good for that. You don't necessarily have to have experience in the domain you're going for. Sometimes people just change domains. This is life, this is what happens. Just learn how to sell your assets. Just know how to sell yourself. This is the most important thing, even if you have experience in that domain or not. My last advice would be to prepare questions for the people that are interviewing you. Prepare them from home. It is the best. You can take your planner, your agenda with you and have them there. You can even open the agenda in the interview. Nobody is gonna mind. They might even be impressed by this. Just show your interest in the company. You know, in an interview, there's always the moment where they say, do you have any questions for us? If you say, no, I think we covered everything, this is a big mistake. I did this many times because I wasn't prepared from home. I wasn't prepared in general, and none of the questions came in my mind because I was so anxious and so afraid of what might happen in that interview that I didn't have time to think clear. So if you have that questions prepared from home, you are not gonna have any problem. Ask both personal and professional questions. You're probably not gonna cover more than 3 questions, but be sure you have all sorts of questions. Ask them where do they see their company in 5 years. If they ask you where do you see yourself in 5 years, ask them what was the biggest struggle in their job until now. Ask them what are their hobbies. You can find many questions. Just make sure you have them there and that you are prepared, because that is gonna show that you have interest in the company and it's gonna matter a lot in the decision. That will be it for today, and all I can hope is that my little advices have helped you in a way or another. And what I'm hoping is that you will get that dream job, and I have my fingers crossed for you. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye!